Hey, this is a bonus episode of In the Particles.
Hey everyone, it's Tuesday
afternoon.
It's August. This is Deborah Black.
And this is Youlim Nam.
And Sophia Trainer is on vacation. Wave to her in the Sierra Nevadas.
Hi.
This is a bonus episode where we're just gonna have kind of a casual conversation, Youlim and I, about particlism and how we can keep maybe coming back to the idea of it and keep trying to figure out what it is, right? Because Sophia brought this word from Mary Overly, and it's not yet defined, except in that it has its basis in postmodernism or post-structuralism or post-colonialism or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Youlim, you.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
yes.
hi.
So, first of all, I'm so grateful for this extra episode because, so we had a meeting last Saturday, and then I expressed my feelings about particlism, that I am still confused.
Mm-hmm.
And
we appreciated the honesty.
Yeah, I am pretty new to this postmodernism, frankly, and I'm still learning. I'm really passionate about studying this, and so long story short, I guess maybe I should share the story with you first. So, we have this little QR code stickers to promote our podcast, and then I put it in on my phone, and then someone asked me, saw this, and what is this? And then I said, I'm doing this podcast called In the Particles. So what is it about? So I said, we're talking about postmodernism in performance, and also we are talking about perhaps art movement we're calling Particlism. So what is Particlism? So I was trying to explain, but at that moment I was very tired, and then okay, this is the moment that I'm pitching, so to speak, and I totally failed. I didn't know how to start. I think I said something like, particlism is and then I saw this chair in the room, and okay, there's this chair, and then you break down this chair legs, and anyway, I totally failed. And then at the moment I didn't even know that was totally wrong, but later on I was just thinking back, oh wow, I was totally wrong, and I don't know anything about particlism.
Well, I might say that, one, you weren't totally wrong.
True.
You just had a piece of it. And that's interesting because particlism is, it's a multiplicity, right? It's many things. And by describing taking apart a chair, you were describing maybe deconstruction.
Yes, exactly.
Part of it.
Yes, the funny thing is also in the room there is this book of Jacques Derrida, and he's talking about this deconstruction.
Okay.
So he mentioned it, and I was like, yes, that's it. That's the word. That's the word.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this person that you were trying to explain particlism to knew Jacques Derrida, the philosopher?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yes. So I just wanted to have a little conversation about particlism with Deborah, so I can have a clear understanding. And then I was re-listening to the episode number 3, and then I did talk about particlism.
Uh-huh.
And then I said particlism is to observe cellular information.
Cellular information.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, I feel kind of insecure when I speak English still, because this is also a podcast, so just letting you know, I'm very nervous. It's okay. So, Deborah, please correct me if I mispronounce anything. Yes, so, so I guess, so particlism for me, as you said, find a subtler information in them. We also briefly covered some spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, and I guess what I understand so far is particlism encourages okay, I'm cheating a little bit.
She's looking at her notes. It's not cheating. It's all good.
Particlism encourages us to embrace the present moment, recognizing that we already have everything we need, which a lot of philosophers and spiritual teachers say these days, I believe. So connecting to the source and observe the sort of things like particles. So I guess that's why Mary called particlism.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I guess we could go back further to, I don't know the dates on this exactly, but I guess there was a movie made about this last summer, the Oppenheimer.
Yes.
I didn't see it actually. It's on my list. Did you see it?
Oh, yeah, of course. I saw it twice.
Okay, so that's about particles, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So years 1930s, 40s, 30s, I don't know, somewhere around there, right? Before the atomic bomb. And so most of the artists that might put themselves into the camp of postmodern artists or experimental artists, and I think experiment is also a really important word for particlism and postmodernism. They were mostly born around that time, or a little bit after, or a little bit before, right? So they were coming onto the planet when people were studying these fine, small microscopic particles. That was the obsession that was happening. And so when the atomic bombs were dropped on Japan at the end of World War II, this was, of course, like a hugely devastating, changed the world, changed everything, right? And it was all because of these little tiny particles, right? So particlism can both be used for that, which might be destruction.
Destruction.
Right? But it's a both and, right? If we're ethical, if we're mindful, if we're all those things, it can also be used to start to see the world differently, the world around us differently, and see people differently and ideas differently. So the particle is not a metaphor, it's very real, because this idea came because of scientists, right? Because what they were doing. And I said experimental artists, it's an important word because there is really an inquiry, right? Those scientists were saying, what's the smallest piece of matter we can find? And they kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going. And they kept asking questions. And so artists do the same thing. Like artists and scientists have actually a lot in common in terms of how they ask questions. They don't know things. They try things. They have like little hunches, and then they try things and they see what happens. So it's not the same, of course, but it's similar.
Yeah, thank you for the history and sharing the information. Yeah, so I guess I am really passionate about this particlism because I think to apply this concept, would you call it concept, or what would be the right?
Apply the concept. Let me say one more thing that you mentioned. Oh no, I just forgot. You were saying about all these teachers saying we have everything we need already. We just have to
In the moment.
in
Yes.
the moment, right? And that's not to be like classist or ableist or any of these things, right? Where like maybe you don't actually have what you need. We're not like implying that everybody has what they need because we live in capitalism and people might not have what they need actually. But what it kind of especially for Mary, what it was saying was like, if you're an artist, there's a lot that's been made, and there's been a kind of an attitude of artists, especially up to that period of postmodernism, where there's this idea that you're creating something and you're being very original. Well, we now know that this isn't true, right? A lot of artists were kind of like pretending that they had made up some original idea. But as scientists will tell you, all experiments are based on previous knowledge. So many, and I can speak for dance because that's the field that I mostly inhabit, many of the modern artists, modern dance artists that worked were really appropriating dances from other cultures and then saying that they were original, right? So there was that whole thing going on, which is, let's just say, for just to be completely transparent, that's pretty unethical. And right in this moment in time, that's really frowned upon. You wouldn't just go maybe to, I don't know, I can't just go to South Korea and learn your dances and then say that they're mine, right? That I created them. I mean, this just, we don't do this anymore. Hopefully. Some people still probably do it, but right. But there's something different about being able to witness what's happening and then really cite it, you know? And so Mary would say that a big kind of switch that needed to happen for many artists was just about how they thought about themselves, which was going from thinking about themselves as somebody who creates things or originates ideas, a creator, originator, to somebody who is a participant observer. So somebody who is in the world, understands that they are sitting on the shoulders of all the people that came before them and all the work that they've done, and that no matter what they make, it's because of those people. It's because of those ideas. It's because of all of those things, right? So this idea that we're not just pulling original ideas out of the ether, right? It's actually not how art happens. It happens by learning about whatever lineage that you're interested in, and then making work sort of in response to it, or from another question about society or your place in it or your identity or whatever it is that you're interested in. But it's never just coming out of nowhere. So in that sense, Particlism is really about this shift from creator originator to participant observer. And I just wanted to say that because you said this thing about the having everything you need. We have everything we need because all these people came before us, you know, and in acting we have so many people, all the playwrights, all the acting teachers, all the designers, all the stuff, right? And in dance it's the same. We have all these dances from all over the world that have existed for a really long time and have changed and evolved. And then we also have, dance as an art form, which is a much newer kind of phenomenon, and all the people that have worked very hard on that. So no matter what, we're in relationship to like all of that, which is like a million billion particles of information.
Abundance.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's I really feel strongly it's our job as artists to say like, these are the influences I know I have. There might even be some influences that I don't know I have, because there's this crazy ether that we live in of ideas that get transferred constantly around us. And some of them have come from people that have appropriated things and never properly cited their sources. Yeah.
So do you think... I have a question. Do you think... then artists can make. Is it possible for artists to make a totally new original work?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's totally out of the realm of possibility, but I don't know that should be anyone's goal, honestly.
So yeah, it's more
I think
like
you're going to create a sort of tortured life for yourself if that's your goal.
So acknowledging
Yeah.
those other artists' work, that's very, very crucial.
Yeah, and that's my philosophy on it. I mean, another person, I'm sure, would disagree with me, but yeah, I think that we all fall into lineages, we all fall into like aesthetic leanings, even if we're trying to create something original.
Yeah.
Cultural context plays a big role. You know, there's so many things that we're like immersed in already. So being separate, right? It's not like trying to be separate from all of that. It's more about being participant observer to all of it.
Yeah, that's so deep. I wanted to mention, so Sophia asked some questions, like in terms of, like as a particleist, we can ask these questions. She said, can you observe subtler aspects of your experience, the subtler nuance, the nuance of difference? So the things that you maybe aren't noticing if you're not turning your awareness towards observation.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of speaks to what we were just talking about.
Yeah, I resonate with this a lot because I think living in this modern world, it can be very, very, very tough. We're living in like survival mode. Especially we live in New York, so that's like biggest part. But when you're in a survival mode, your vision can be very narrow. So you're chasing something. You have to chase to get something. But I think if you step back and just think of this particlism, then you just stay open and just receive. And I think that's what Sophia was trying to say. The things that we are not noticing if we are not turning our awareness towards observation. So that I think just this thought itself, it's very, very powerful for me. Just not as an artist, as a just person.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder too, like, it's such a strong image to see when you were saying, like, I'm running towards something and it gets very narrow, and then you take a step back and you sort of get to experience, right? And there's this feeling of, like, when you're pointing, or when one points to, like, one thing or one goal, there's a kind of there's a kind of loss, I think, to that, like, way of being, whereas if you take the step back and you get to see more possibilities in front of you, I think that's there's something to be said about this, like, cultural messaging in the Western world often is like there's certain signifiers of success, right? And that we're meant to kind of go towards those signifiers of success, which have been built up on, like, a Western sort of supremacy, what that means and what's valued and all of that. So I just question like these, you know, like very kind of like narrow goals within what you're saying too. Like, just because I got this image of this like narrow corridor, right? There's very little inside of that, and then the stepping back and kind of seeing that there's more possibilities, and that you didn't have to create them. It's just more about like opening up to them or something.
Yeah,
like that.
because it's already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would you say this narrow goal is more modernism perspective, and then the other one is more
Definitely.
postmodernism perspective?
Yeah.
That's why I'm very passionate about particlism, because I
Yeah.
think we should have this perspective living in this modern society to, I really truly believe that we can have a better quality of life,
Yeah.
embracing the present moment and observing subtle information and just stay open.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that we've run out of time. But that was a great ending, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna stop now, but maybe we'll do more. But thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
If you like this episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel.